Right, Rick. We got two misfits here. How's your
Hey,
day
hey,
going?
good. I'm doing really well. These other guys, they don't want to show up, man. I'm telling you, we start this channel and no one wants to do anything on it.
Right. Did you do anything fun today?
Um, what did I do today? Let me think. God, I can't even think. 10 minutes ago, nothing card wise. I always look at eBay, auction houses. Even if I don't bid on auction, I just love. I send you those things. I just love looking at this stuff. It's just museum quality stuff. I can't afford, but just fun to look.
I do too. I'm always on there looking at something. Not always buying, but always looking. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's enjoyable to look around and stumble on things that you never saw before,
yeah, and they
or
have the
things you forgot you wanted. That's always a plus. There's something pop up and you forgot you wanted it, and it comes up at a good price, and buy it
yeah.
now or something, or
You know,
make an offer.
it's kind of interesting with eBay nowadays. Because with all these, it seems like a lot of the rare stuff or things you just don't see them on eBay any longer. When I 5, 6, 10 years ago, you would see more stuff. Maybe because PWCC is not on there anymore, but you don't see a
Mhm.
lot of pre-war type things on eBay. Not as much as you used to.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's not as much as you used to, and it seems to be moving to the big auction houses. And
Yeah,
I think the reason for that is all the big players, all the big money people like you go to those big auction houses and compete with each other. And that stuff sells for, I think, a lot more money on there. Where, eBay is so big, cards can sit in obscurity there. If you're not searching specifically for that card, right, you wouldn't even know it's on there.
yeah,
Whereas the auction houses send out catalogs, you can look at everything ahead of time, you know what you want to bid on, and they get a little bit of hype going, right?
yeah. I mean, if I were to sell something like a Ruth or something like that, I probably would do an auction house. I wouldn't do eBay. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's just
it's yeah, I think eBay's getting less and less for the big vintage cards. I mean, you could certainly still find stuff on there. I prefer it just because it's easy to pay,
yeah,
it's easy to
yeah,
bid, it's easy to track, it's easy to get notifications. Where like the big auction houses, you got to worry about the what is it, 20% on top, and then I don't know. There's different ways to pay. Now, I just did that one on REA, and it was all smooth. It was all fine. But
yeah. All those places, you don't have zero issue. I've never had an issue. Now it takes a while for you to get the card because they don't want to take. They want to have you send a check or something like that in the mail. So time they get it, they let it check clear. There's stuff from 3 weeks ago that I'm still waiting on. Just the way they do things, especially in the more expensive stuff. I have PayPal, but if it's a lot of money, there's usually a limit on that. Whatever. But
yeah,
so check in
well,
and
eBay, it just takes it. I just Apple Pay. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
2 seconds. Everything's already there. Shipping address. I don't know. It's just so easy. Uh, eBay just hasn't been doing a good job over the past few years.
yeah. No,
They really tried to cater to the flippers, and they've pushed that authentication, which can be frustrating for graded
yeah,
cards, especially. Like I just had one that went the whole way out to California, waited like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and then they said, they've been doing this a lot lately. The listing it was listed improperly, so we're not authenticating. Then they send it to you. Congratulations. Well, what the
yeah,
hell did I wait 3.5 weeks for?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean it was an SGC graded card.
yeah,
So they have that going on. They've been calling around trying to get people to use the vault. And I had actually a little bit of a discussion with the guy from eBay, and I'm like, that's good for flippers, like for people that are
yeah,
buying them to sell them in another month or something. But
yeah,
collectors want to own these things. We want to hold them. We want to have them in our collection. We have no interest in having them in that vault. And
yeah,
if we did, we'd be putting them in a bank deposit vault, right?
yeah.
Not
Exactly.
not not eBay's vault.
Yeah, I mean it's smart. If you're going to buy something, you are going to sell the next month or two. Hell, so you don't have to pay the tax. You have them hold it. But
Yeah,
that's
right.
that's not us, so it doesn't apply to us.
Right, but I don't know. They was making it sound like, and I've heard other things. People just aren't using that, I guess, like they were during the boom.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
they're trying to promote it, I think, but they don't get it, you know. And the other thing they need to do better is policing. You know, some of those listings are so absurd, and I've done videos going through there and showing all the fake stuff and homemade cards and when I say homemade, I mean like cut out of a magazine and call it a card and put it in a four screw down with a label and say it's
yeah,
graded and
yeah,
all these grading slabs I'd never heard of before. They're just made in somebody's basement.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, you can get over, I guess, on some of the newer people, but that's bad for the hobby. We don't want that.
yeah,
And the sad part is they'll probably pass authentication because they're authentic. They're just charging way too much, right?
yeah,
Like if you pay $10,000 for a 1990 Jose Ariba, it's going to authenticate. You know, it doesn't. They're not going to say, "Well, you overpaid." I don't think they do that, right? It's still
yeah.
going to authenticate. So I don't know.
You know, one thing I've never mentioned, and I've never heard anyone else mention, is for eBay, I use an eBay credit card. I pay it off, but I accumulate points. And so at the end of the month or after, like right now, I have $50 I can spend on something. So when you see, when you put in your payment, you say, hey, do you want to use your credit or something? And I just pay it off each month. And that's how sometimes I have $50, $100 in there, and I just
I didn't
apply.
know. I didn't know you could do that. They used to have the rewards program, and that was awesome because I don't know. I think it was once a quarter or something. But when it would pop up, it was like getting a free card or two, with
Yeah,
those points.
yeah,
And people that buy a lot, I mean, it could be $100. You know. So where did you get that credit card? Through eBay itself?
yeah. I think it's like been 3 or 4 years now. And plus it's easier, so I don't know where I have different credit cards. I just eBay. I stick it on there and pay it each. I know what I have. I don't know what it's like 2%, whatever it is, but I have like right now $50 credit to apply to something. And sometimes when I was really into eBay, I'd have a build up. I just do I want to use it now? $100, $150, and just apply it. So that's just one
Thank you,
way.
thank you, Jason. Hey, can you use that credit card for other things too,
Yes,
or
yes.
just on eBay?
No,
If you could use
you
it for
can
anything.
use other things. But if you use it on eBay, I believe I haven't looked at it in a while. You get more points or more credit,
Oh, okay.
for eBay. And obviously they want you to not pay it off right directly,
Right.
but I do it.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, so we have Jason in the house. Four Leaf. Eric, how are you? The Battery, Carlisle Road. All familiar names to me. And
Yeah.
Lou Rock is driving.
Now we have
He's
a
always
total of
he's always
11
driving.
people. We have a total of 11 people. I'm showing. I tell you, the
W.
missus.
Vogs is in the house.
There you go.
W. Vogs, you're in North Carolina, right? Dean
Dean's,
Gerhardt.
yeah.
Hey, Dean.
Of course,
So,
Lou
Rick, what
Rock.
are you buying now? You got your eye on anything?
What do I have? No, because I've purchased some stuff through auction houses recently.
Yeah. So,
Um,
what auction houses do you buy from for people listening?
I think the number one auction house for what we collect is REA.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're first class. There's an issue with the Ruth card, Victor and the Ruth card being an RC and this and that, because that was sold on REA. But for the most part, they do a great job of description. If there's a crease or wrinkle, they'll tell you about it. You can actually contact them and they'll explain if you have a question. Hey, I can't, they'll explain to you. They actually know what they're talking about. It's not some
Yeah.
18-year-old answering a question. Now, you're going to probably pay up, though. REA is first class. They have the best stuff. And if I were to send them something in a nice card, I'd probably have REA. So REA would be one. I know you love Golden for a reason, but I'm not going to mention that. But they're kind of sketchy. You know, they don't do a very good job. I think I showed you, you know, a card recently that I said, "Hey, look at this card," and you know, it doesn't look like that type of
Yeah.
thing. You got to
Yeah.
worry
Yeah.
about that. PWCC is the same way, but the other ones, Love of the Game or Leland's, who have fantastic photos. Those I
Do you
really
ever buy on?
haven't
Do
had
you ever
any
buy
issues.
on Heritage?
Yeah, the Ruth I got was from Heritage. The York.
Yeah, I never really. I only bought from an auction house twice. Once years ago, I did a live auction. It was pretty fun.
You know
Um,
what you do? You don't even have to buy. You know, Dave mentioned this. The same thing is I'll follow. I'll put in an opening bid. It could be $50, $100. I'm not going to win it at 50, $100, but I'll get an email that, hey, and I'll just follow it. And if something comes up that's totally undervalued that I want it, I'll stick a bid in. I won't go any higher. And if I win it, I win it. If I don't, I don't. And some things fall through the cracks, you know, for whatever reason. You don't have to be, like I said, you're not, you know, you put in your bid. It's not no harm, no foul type
yeah,
stuff. It's fun,
yeah. So
you know, when that
yeah,
night,
yeah.
it's fun.
I know. I was obsessed. You're like always refreshing. Four
Yeah.
Leaf says REA catalogs are collectibles in their own right.
Yes,
Isn't that the truth?
yes. They're thicker. They're like,
What do you know RMY?
yes, that's
Yeah,
that's the ones that do the photos. A lot of my photos for RMY
yeah.
auction.
That's what
That's
he's
all they
saying.
do is
Our for
photos.
vintage photos.
I mean, the guy's legit. If he says it's type one, it's type one. You know, he's not trying to. I have zero issue with him either, and
Yeah, I
that's the
don't
way.
know RMY. I'm not a photo collector though. I mean, I have a
But
few,
you go
but
through just. You should subscribe once a month. They have an auction. It's just to look at these photos. You know, Roberto Clemente. They'll
yeah,
probably 5 to 10.
my favorite photo. I had to get this one. It's just
Yeah,
gorgeous.
and they'll have them non-graded too. You know,
From
non. So
'67.
you can get stuff 30, 40, $50. You know, I showed you the Cy Williams one time. I got that for like $50, and
Yeah.
I,
No,
you know,
people don't know him. He was such a good player. It's unbelievable, both offensively and defensively.
yeah, yeah.
It's yeah, it's pretty incredible that oops, that people don't know him. Let's see. Anybody have any questions for Rick?
For Rick,
The Rick and his beautiful mind,
yeah. Ask
his beautiful vintage oddball mind.
all those
Orlando's here.
answering questions. You know, give me the questions, I'll answer them for you. Right?
Yeah, Jericho, I agree with you. That is a very fast growing segment of the hobby, and it may be the fastest for sure.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Rick?
How about for John? I can give you. I have a.
Orlando wants you to show your latest pickup.
Okay, I do have a latest pickup. I'm just going to show you one of them though, because it's going to wreck my next video. Let me show you.
That's okay. People on this channel get a special preview.
There we go. Let's see.
Peter
here.
B's in the house.
Do you want to see a Joe DiMaggio or a Ted Williams?
I'm a DiMaggio guy.
This will be
Well,
up.
I'm both.
Here. Which one? I'll do the Ted Williams. I'll do.
How about both?
No, because that's going to be my whole on. They're going to ruin my thing here. Because no one's watching this anyway. All right. See if Orlando has this one. You don't see this one very often.
Oh, yes, the propagandist.
Now I see, you know, whatever the more common ones, you know, but a lot of times for whatever reason you don't see the Ted Williams as much. Probably people keep it in their collection, right?
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if I've ever seen one other than the one you picked up.
Yeah,
because
so
I have several of those. That's a great, very scarce set. Very
this
scarce.
is a beater. They're all ones. This is a one miscut. on
Yeah,
top.
so anybody that's watching that's not familiar with those are from 1947. They're very thin, paper thin. Oh, if you get a two in those, that's a high grade for those. They came with there was an album for them, and most of the time they were glued in an album, and almost everyone I've ever seen has some remnants of that glue on the back. So they're always going to grade low. I've never seen one above a two, I don't think. Maybe a 2.5 or three, maybe.
The heck, I'll show you the other one too. Nah, I'll save it. You
I,
saw
I
it.
I'll show mine. Then you don't have to show it.
Where's
Nah, I don't
yours?
feel like getting it.
But that's my
Yeah,
newest.
Lando, paper thin cards. They sure are.
They're like
They
paper.
sure are.
It's
The one
paper.
the one sad thing about everything being graded these days is people don't know the consistency of the stock or whatever. So they're not educated enough to maybe buy raw cards because they don't even know what it feels like, because it's in that slab. Because those are really super thin.
Oh, they're like paper.
Yeah.
I think they might be paper. I have
Well,
one.
maybe one step above, maybe a thick paper.
Yeah, but I have one that's starting to curl. Unfortunately, um,
In the
it's
slab.
it's in the slab, but it's starting to curl up a little bit.
Well,
The whole
I
part.
have one of those silks that's in an SGC slab, and it's starting to bunch up. I'm probably gonna have to crack it out, which is
Yeah,
a shame, but
I might have to do that too. I
because
don't
it,
know.
it just doesn't look good.
I'm trying to see if I can find it, but one thing I picked up too, talking about papers, I picked up one of those 34 stamps. Those newspaper stamps that are paper stamps that they had in the newspapers, like the Rinky
Yeah,
Dink
yeah,
or there's probably like 50 different newspapers. I picked up a Sporting News Lou Gehrig one that's
yeah.
not
You
really
showed me
hard.
that. I never saw those particular ones before. I know in the late '60s, I believe, the Dayton Press, Dayton newspaper had big images, and I guess technically they're considered cards because they were meant to be
Yeah, I
cut
don't know.
out.
Just
But
paper. On the back is a cartoon, whatever. And it's not.
yeah,
It's right up my alley. Vintage eyeball. I mean, somebody's gonna pick it up, it's gonna be me. But it's a Lou Gehrig 34. So
yeah. Jason says he's considering getting a 32 Sonella, Ruth. Um, I'll tell you what. Do I have that around?
I have a. Let's see. I got some. There's a bunch of roofs. Not a, but there's some you can
I
get. They're
I
definitely
have
under
that.
bucks.
I have the Ruth in a PSA 6, but I have the complete set and raw, and I haven't touched them in a long time. I don't remember them. I remember them being thinner than most cards, but not like the propagandists. Not that thin.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to let's see. Do I have?
I have them in the other room. I could go.
There's a bunch of different roofs you can get, babes. You can get that are. You don't have to. Oh, this one right here. This one you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You got two big boys. Max Smelling and Ruth. So anyway, something if you want a Ruth card, plain day Ruth card,
yeah.
that
Back in the day, that was always one to go after, and that. Oh, what's the? Is it Churchman's?
Churchman's is another one.
Yeah, that's a classic image of him. It's the same image. It's like a drawing, but the same image that's on that Japanese postcard. Man, I love that thing.
You know,
You
I
know,
I picked up. It's still waiting for it. Did I show you that? Didn't I? The French card. It's the same. It's the photo of him batting in the
yeah,
34. That's very. It's a total beater, but you never see him. But there's a lot
yeah.
of stuff you can Ruth wise. You don't have to get a Gaudi or spend thousands. If you just want the Sonella would be one too. But there's so many of those.
That Sonella used to be so cheap. I know there's probably a lot of people kicking themselves. I remember I had two, and I was trying to sell one, and people were like, "I don't want those overseas." They were being so like rude to me, like, "Get that,
Yeah.
get that crap out of here!" Right?
Yeah.
And
Show
then
them your. Show
during the
me your.
boom.
What's the one that it's the Russian one? I love that Russian one that nobody wants. Oh God, what is it? Anyway, there's a bunch. I
What's the
love that
Russian one?
stuff.
The do you have it?
No, it's my safe deposit box.
No, but
It's
you own it.
yeah.
The
You have
Abdallah?
to. It's I think it's Russian, right? Yeah, Russian.
I didn't think it was Russian.
Is it Russian? What is? There's not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. What is?
I
It's
thought it was like Bulgaria or somewhere. I don't know. I don't know.
you know
I
what
don't
I'm
know
talking.
where
You
it's
know what
from.
I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah,
Is that
I wanted this
German?
card from the first time I saw it. Well, who speaks other languages? Who knows what language that is?
Yeah, that's a beautiful card.
Oh man, I love this card.
Whoops. Uh-oh.
What
Oh,
happened? What
I
happened?
don't. Hmm?
Did you lose me?
No, just for a second. You're back on.
Oh,
Just.
okay.
That's a beautiful card. I would take that card over any Dowdy card that I have.
Yeah. I
I
mean, I
mean,
love this card.
it's. I don't know. It's not rare, but it's more scarce, and it's a
I have
beautiful card.
another I have another more inexpensive Babe Ruth here, but it's not a card, but still really really cool if I can find it. Well, I have two, but one's during this playing days. Um, this is actually pretty rare. These are hard to find, and they shouldn't be. I think they were just given away. But the year is I'm drawing a blank on the year. I think 47 or 49. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden, but these were from RKO Theaters when the Babe Ruth story came out,
Yeah.
and they handed those out, I believe. But
Okay.
you don't see those too often. And this is the one that's the 1934 Quaker Oats Premium, and it's a beautiful image.
On a Quaker Oats thing.
Oh, by the way, Rick, before you do that, I just have to show I have the original envelope for that thing.
No, of course you do. That's what's neat. Those
This is
things
how they
like
came.
yeah.
When you would send in your Quaker Oats wrappers or whatever, box, whatever. Uh, yeah, they would mail you one of these.
This had to be. This is the cheapest Ruth card you can get. I guarantee it. And Ruth is on the label. It's a Quaker Oats 34 here.
I don't think I've ever seen that thing.
Yeah. So it has a question and answer on the back. You never seen those things?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Quaker Oats.
Is Babe Ruth on it?
No, he's on the label, and it's a Babe Ruth. It says here.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, this is a stretch. That's what I'm saying. Who has received the most bases on balls during one season?
I'll buy a Baby Ruth candy bar.
170 times. So anyway, if you want a Babe Ruth card, here it is with Babe on the label.
We got Reese in the house. Sammy Thunder. Reese, good to see you. Sammy. Now, yeah, we were on. Orlando and I were on with Sammy. He's making us wait though. I think it's coming out Thursday. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
Oh, you guys did something?
Yeah, but this is the Misfits channel. Everything's safe here.
Yeah, everything's safe. Oh, no one watches. What do we got? 15.
Well, I mean, we never use it, so we need to use it more.
We need to promote it. You need to
So
put
I'll show something cool if for anybody that probably most people on here that didn't see my video. I got this check for Whitey Lockman from Topps from 1960. That's the check they paid him to be on the baseball cards. It's endorsed by his wife on the back. It says for deposit only. $75, man.
$75
from Topps. Really cool piece.
You have Cy Berger in the locker room at the door waiting for those players to come out and get them to sign the contract.
Yeah. He used to, in the old days, when they first started up, he'd give them 25 bucks. I have a book that they interview him and he tells the whole story. And he said that that's where the term steak money came from. He'd give him 25 bucks and say, go get yourself a steak. But those guys, he was saying that the guys, as time went on, like they couldn't wait to sign. They wanted to be on baseball cards, you
Sure.
know, they didn't care about the money.
Mm.
And what's interesting today that you didn't have back when Top started is all the players themselves collecting cards. I mean, you see so many, and they're trading amongst each other, and they're buying their own. It's pretty cool.
See anything else?
Sammy, how did I come to get that check? Anything else on auction? You just got to look around. Actually, Staven, Dom from Staven Sports Cards, he alerted me to it. He said this would be look good in your museum. And I'm like, you're not going to bid? And he's like, no, it's all yours. So I got it for the opening bid. Nobody even bid on the thing. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you don't see too many of these.
You gonna get that
Those are,
thing
those are the
framed?
kind of things that get my juices flowing, Rick.
You gonna get that thing framed? Put a card in it?
Well, I didn't have, at least I don't think, I didn't even look. Because if I see a card, I know if I have it or not. And I don't think I have a Whitey Lockman. So I ordered an autographed one that I'm going to post with it. Because this doesn't have his autograph on it. It has his wife's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, they'll look good together. Because I wanted the year, I have I have a lot of Topps contracts. And I like to have the year the contract was signed, the year of the card. That's
Oh.
where they appeared after they signed that contract. Those are kind of cool to have.
No, these are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty cheap if you go with just some players you might have liked growing up, but if you get to superstars, then they get into the multiple hundreds.
Sure, sure.
Someone pointed out, what is he saying?
Transgram Mets cards with for $97 and eBay included in Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver.
You're kidding me. How did I miss that one? That's a steal. That Nolan Ryan's a tough one.
What do I have? I have McCovey, I think.
I have a bunch. I have the Seaver. I have a really nice Willie Mays, Bob Gibson. I have several, but I don't have the Nolan Ryan. That's a really cool looking card too. I'd love to have it. It was mislabeled, he said.
Yeah.
Did you buy that, Sammy? Did you scoop that baby up? I'll give you twice what you paid.
Pay you on Tuesday.
Yeah, there was the Johnson cookies and the 54 one. Now that's not my favorite Hank Aaron. My favorite Hank Aaron is the 55, which I have. But somebody was on Facebook and they posted a 54, and man, I couldn't act fast enough. They were asking $200 for it. And there's another YouTuber on here, and he snaked it. He snaked it. He got it right before me. Next thing I know, he's doing a video with an SGC slab and selling it for probably 8 times that amount.
How about this baby? Spick and span.
Spick and span. Nice. How rare are those, Rick? What's the pop?
Pretty rare, I think. I don't know if people have them in their collection, I think, because spick and span is not that rare, but maybe people just don't sell them, I don't know.
Yeah, I have a bunch of different spick and spans. They made them different every year.
Yeah.
And what people don't know is spick and span was a dry cleaners in Milwaukee.
Yep.
It's not the spick and span you're thinking of, the household product.
Yep.
So it was a regional issue, and there's just not going to be a lot of them because they weren't mass produced. But I have a hat. I have a hat they did for a little kid. Yeah, okay. I have a hat. I have a Luberdet. I have a Warren Spahn. I have an Eddie Matthews, and a Joe Adcock. And I have different ones. The ones that are really tough are the cutout, the pop-ups.
Okay, yeah. Those are
and
really
they're
expensive.
I mean, they're really expensive, even if they're popped out. They're kind of like the 51 Connie Max that, they're so hard to find in one piece that people even pay up for the popped out versions. But the Warren Spawn's really cool with the leg kick and these, it's kind of a really cool
Do
one.
you have any of the photos, like the 8x10 photos that they would tape onto the garment bags when you received them?
I have
I
not
have
8
two,
by 10. I
or
have
whatever
one
size
that's
they are.
it's more
Yeah,
yeah, what size is it?
let me go.
I
I
don't
have
know what it
right here. Let me grab
it's
right
more
here.
oblong, right?
Yeah, I'll show
Like
you.
rectangular. 3D 80s kid. Man, that was hard coming out. Stokes. There's a man that knows his baseball cards.
Darn right.
Among many other things, he collects everything.
That guy, he knows everything. I thought I knew stuff.
I
Right
know,
here.
right?
This.
Yeah, I think that's a Luber. I think the Luber I have is that.
And there's tape on the top and bottom, which is cool. That's how they would tape it to the plastic bag when you got them back.
Mine doesn't have tape, and mine might be a little smaller.
Huh.
I don't. I'd have to double check. I don't.
This.
It's not. It's not quite. It's big. It's big, but it's not like. That's probably it. I don't know.
Yeah. But they came out different. It's kind of weird because they came out different sizes, different things each year.
Oh, the battery's saying 7 by 10. Yeah, that's probably what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's got to be the one I have then.
Yeah. Inexpensive too, if you find them.
Yeah, like I said, well, some of those, like the Eddie Matthews, is probably you're probably going to pay around $100,
Bobby Thompson.
and those the Warren Spawn, like the postcards are I found are the probably the cheapest and the smaller little cards, but those pop outs, those go for like mid 300s for the ones I've seen.
Oh yeah.
They're not cheap.
You never see them either.
No, Michael Taylor.
Watch your channel. Never commented. The 34 Butterfinger Premium is a
Yeah.
great. Look at it.
Yeah, I'm collecting the 34 set. I have two Babe Ruths. I have the Gehrig. I have the Dizzy Dean. I have three Jimmy Foxes. I have two of the regular ones and one with his name spelled wrong. There's one that only has one X. I think that's the Air. And I have Bill Dickey. I have a bunch of them, but there's still a few I need. The one big one that I need is Melot. That's the big one I need. I got the Poison, Big Poison, Little Poison. And then they call them Canadian Butterfinger, but there's no evidence whatsoever that Butterfinger distributed them. But they look the same and have the same paper stock. And the only way you can really tell is they're a little bit smaller. They're a little bit smaller. I guess they were distributed in Canada, and I have one of those. I have a Jim Bottomley in that, and those are super rare. Those are really hard to find. The Butterfingers, it is just blows my mind that those things lasted from 1934 because they are paper. They're thinner than paper. I mean, like your computer paper's thicker than those things.
Well, most of them are beat to hell. I mean, most of them.
Well, a lot of them, but you could still find them. My Dizzy Dean is outstanding, and my Ruths are both really nice. All of mine are really nice examples. Like you find them with a ripped corner, the corners ripped off, and tears. Mine are pretty nice.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind that I could find that many in good condition like that. I mean, they almost always grade a 1.52, something like that. One, there's something wrong with them, but they present really nice, unless they have you see some of them taped back together or missing like
Sure.
the whole top or the whole bottom, something like that. But still, it's remarkable any of them lasted.
Yeah. The prices
I
on those.
wonder how people stored those back in the day. Because you would think that they, would probably glue them into
Yeah.
albums like they did with a lot of the other stuff, but you don't see that. And if they did glue them into an album, you'd never get them out. They would
Yeah.
they would tear.
Yeah.
There's Staven. What's up, Dom? Yeah, it is a great image of Gehrig, Michael. and it's it's a unique image. It's not something you see all the time, which is nice. That's nice on certain cards, like this Babe Ruth that I showed earlier. Like you just don't see that image on anything else.
No, I've never seen it.
Where
Beautiful
a
card.
lot of his images they use over and over and over again, but not this one. And that's one of the reasons that I love it. The 1926 Spalding that I have of him is the same way. It's a unique pose. You just don't see it. And even that W519 that we have, that's kind of unique.
Yeah. Yeah. I need
Do I
this.
have that right? Is it 519?
I don't know. Whatever.
You know the strip card.
I have no idea how they figure, 502s, 517s,
I know. I
519s. People always ask you too, probably, hey, do you got the, I have to look it up. What's the whatever number?
Jason, we will be. We're both going. We're staying with a bunch of people. We have an Airbnb booked.
John's
And
gonna have
Rick's
his white sport coat on without his
and Rick's
glasses.
gonna and
He's
Rick's
not
gonna
able
have
to
his
see.
Rick's gonna have his cash and a Halliburton briefcase with handcuffs
John's
to
gonna be
his
like
wrist.
Mr. Magoo.
I'll tell you what, I'm not. That's not happening this year, Rick. Rick snaked all kind of cards from me because I didn't have my glasses and
I
I
know.
didn't
Where's
see
that
them.
card? I gotta find that card.
Oh, that Louis Tillon, I'm still mad about that one. I'm so mad about that one. That was a
You're
steal
always
of a
asking, what
price.
is that? How much is that? What is that? Who's that?
I never saw it, man. I was so mad. Anything I don't find, I don't see, Rick snakes from me. Or if I don't act like in 1 second, he'll buy it. Will the Muppets make an appearance?
For sure.
Uh, we had so much fun filming that stuff. Everybody thought we were crazy.
That was funny. That was just spur of the moment too. It wasn't even planned. I mean, we just walked around. Oh, there's a Starbucks, or there's a.
Yeah, Liam thought we were crazy when we went to lunch and made him film.
I remember saying, we're asking that Garrett was there. Here, Garrett, can you film us? And then we're thinking, God, this guy's a grumpy guy, man. He's probably going to be pissed off if we.
Hey, Sammy watched us. He got the flamingo case. He must have watched us. We had one viewer. The flamingo case. That's funny. Thanks, Double D. Dylan, are you on your surfboard right now watching this? Yes, Dom, you were my eyes for most of the week. You sure were. I get these younger guys to be able to read, tell me what my bill is, so I know what to tip. I don't know. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I forgot my glasses. Because when you're looking at cards, it's tough. I take my phone and zoom in and use that. It sure was a lot of fun back in the day when you could see better. I was looking at some old card boxes I had, and I write in pencil on the side of those BCW boxes, and I couldn't help but notice how small my writing was, and like I don't even think I can write that small anymore. But all my writing was real small because I always had perfect vision. And once you start like having to use reading glasses for work or to see your email or whatever, then you can't stop. Once you start, and that's why I hate wearing them because I don't want to be totally dependent on them.
Yeah. I can't see anything.
I only wear them like when I'm working.
Under the lights there at the National, man, you really need to look at the cards because once you go outside, you're going, what the heck? There's a crease here. There's it's tough with the old farts. I'm trying to find that Tiant card somewhere. Oh, here's
Remember when
one.
we were young enough that we woke up in the morning and we could see? Yes, sir.
The lake.
Love the lake. I have one with the punch.
Okay, that's right. I got this one first. You're going, what the heck? Where'd you find that at?
Yeah, but I got one with the punch, which is cool
No,
because
that's
that's
cool.
how it was redeemed,
That's how, yeah.
and I kind of like that stuff, and I don't mind it at all.
Oh,
And you know
exactly.
what? I have a the 32 U.S. caramel. I have one of those with a stand with the punch because those were redeemed the same way.
Yeah, and the Honey Boy, my
Honey
crispy
boy.
was like the.
I thought you got one without the punch.
I have one without, but I'm saying that's how they.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And when I
yeah.
first
The
started
punch
getting,
drives you crazy. You hate
when
the
I first
punch.
got into pre-war, it's just kind of funny. What the heck's a hole punch doing on the card? You know?
Yeah, Stukes. Of course, you have a bunch of Packer Lake Lakes. I have some of them. I have Paul Horning, Jim Taylor, Forrest Gregg. I really want the Bart Star, man. That is just a fabulous card. Very pricey card.
Let's see. Here's another card I snaked from you.
Yes, sir. But I did get a really nice copy of that one. So I'm over that one. I'm not over the Marichal yet. I'm not over
Yeah,
that one
and
yet.
that one over there, I can see it right now.
I had a chance to pull the trigger. It was just the end of the national. I had spent some money, and I didn't feel like spending that quite yet. But I got one shortly after because I regretted it, especially because you would throw it in my face all the time.
Here's one of the ugliest looking cards you're ever going to see.
Oh, come on now.
Well, look at him. Come on. You got to admit.
I know, but I like that
That,
set, and
yeah.
if you're gonna collect that set, you have to have Walter Johnson.
It doesn't even look like. I mean,
I know, I
that's
know.
pretty bad for
Now
a.
some of the cards in that set are really good looking though, like the
Yeah.
Eddie Sicati. That thing's fabulous.
Trying to see what I got here. How about a Sidney Crosby
Oh, nice.
rookie? A black diamond. These are cool. These black diamonds. They're. Hey, why
Yeah, I
is it
what I
a serious question for
yeah.
everyone out there? What pisses me off with PSA, and I don't live in a state that with a lot of humidity. Okay, so why are these labels, the glues coming off these things, and they start to fold up? Do you ever have some of your cards where the labels kind of bent a little bit? The
Oh, in the
glues.
PSA?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
What is that?
Heck
What is
yeah.
that?
Well, you people that are slaves to PSA, I don't know what to tell you. All you do is bitch about them, but you keep using them.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Their
You
their
have that.
labels all do that. My SGC holder labels from back in the day, the original ones that I had, they got all dingy, like
Oh,
over time. I had to get a bunch relabeled because it was driving me insane. Those looked horrible.
what do they charge? I don't want to
Oh,
send
what
it.
Peter B? Yeah, that Jack Berry's a sweet card in that set, T207. Sideways card, and he's like, he's fielding. That's a great card.
Here's my
You
greatest.
you know you're a card addict when people give you some obscure, set from the early 1900s, and you can picture it in your head. You know what it looks like.
Here's another one. One of your favorite players, right?
Absolutely, best hockey player ever.
You have this one, right? Obviously. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, both versions.
Do you?
You need the Opeachy and the tops. Both versions of the Gretzky too. You need both.
Hey, you got this one. I bet you don't have this one. I know you don't.
I don't have the Chuck Connor. I just refuse to pay that much money for a guy that never played.
Well, he played.
He was a rifleman.
Yeah, but he played.
He didn't play in the majors.
Didn't he play in the Hollywood Stars? That team.
He might have had like one game. I just think that's a ridiculous. See, here's the thing. Nobody other than maybe our age group's going to remember. We're like the last age group that'll even know who he is. And so 10 years from now, who's going to be buying him?
He
Nobody's
played.
going back and watching a rifleman.
He played for the Boston Celtics too.
Well, that's a baseball card, not a basketball card.
No. Did anyone mention anything or?
You think of a modern. Okay, here's an interesting. He thinks if a modern card could hit 1 million, he thinks it's a '93 SP Jeter. What do you say? What say you? Peter B. Wait, going back. Peter B. says he played as a Cub. Peter, how many games? I thought he just had like one game. What do you think? The Jeter SP.
Who are you talking to? Me?
I'm talking to you. That's tough to get in a 10, right?
I don't know. I don't know the modern cards. I can tell you.
I don't know. These people pay astronomical prices for a 10.
Hey, look at this.
Not my thing.
This thing's dropped 50%.
Yeah, well, he'll be back. You know what? He was hurt, the whole second half of the season, and out of sight, out of mind, baby. He'll be back. When he plays, he is Mr. Consistency. He puts up numbers.
This is one of my biggest ripoffs. I paid way over this. It's dropped.
Well, 50. Unless he keeps getting hurt like this, if he can get healthy, his final numbers, if he could stay healthy, his final numbers will be great when he retires.
I think
a lot of those guys you don't notice until at the end of their career you see their numbers, right?
Yeah. That's that SP though. The 3093 SP is a expensive card. You have that, John? Don't you?
It's really cheap in like a 7 or an 8. That thing came way down.
It's just
a few $100.
It's a 10.
I think you can get 3 for $200. An 8 or 8.5. I think that's the last one I paid.
Okay.
I have a few of them, but just because of that set, it's so hard to get a 10, and that's what people care about. They'll pay the big bucks for a 10. Yeah. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. I like to collect cards. Having a pristine one. I don't know, when you're into the vintage, like they don't exist in the cards we collect.
No.
You're lucky to get a 5 in the cards we collect. That's next to unheard of.
Yeah.
So, I think for the new card collectors, they're just so used to everything has to be a 10 or it's junk. So, and I wonder how that will play out down the road, with the vintage cards, because when you have more people used to those 10s, these old cards are going to be antiques. Look, they're not gonna compare, right?
Yeah.
We had that discussion on our one live. That thing that was a fun live with Double D and Splendid Sports Cards and Midlife Cards. And I have to apologize. I always call them Midlife Crisis Cards. I don't know. It just comes out because what comes after midlife?
Yeah.
Crisis. That's the only thing. Yeah. So I got to stop doing that. But Rick, us old guys, you're always misspeaking. Like I'll think of one player and another player's name come out, like Eddie Watt. Like in a video I mistakenly said Eddie Wakis, and some chooch commented that how he loves these vintage collectors that don't even have no clue who the old players are.
Yeah.
You believe that? I'm like, this is obviously somebody that just watched this one video, and I slipped up. A different name popped into my head, and he's got to be a complete dick about it.
Yeah, I do that with years. I do it all kind of. I go back and watch. There's like 3 or 4 things. I'll say a year, and then next time I'll say a different year. It's not like the sports card dad or our friend Jeff Wilson. We're just having fun out here. Come on.
Yeah.
We're not doing
we're just having fun. Sometimes things pop into, we have all these names of all these players throughout history. And, I don't even realize I'm doing it. I don't want to give it away, but I had, when I was proofing that video, I caught it, but I decided to keep it for a specific reason. and I don't want to give away what that reason is, but I'll reveal it soon. But I'm just laughing at this chooch for getting
Yeah.
all bent out of shape about it, uh, acting like I'm a moron. I don't know anything, and I left it in there for a particular reason because I didn't want to redo the whole video, so I decided to do something, a little contest with it.
I got you. I do
And
that. I'll check it out. I don't want to redo. I'll just whatever, or I'll put a thing that, well, a lot of people, I don't even edit anything, but people correct it, while they're doing it. They'll make a little comment as they're watching, but sometimes I'll put it in the description, like, that was night, whatever year or something.
oh, Lou said that was under his burner account. I wouldn't doubt it, Lou.
Where's Lou, man? What's he? He's feeding his.
I mean, I get sick and tired of Lou always putting his family ahead of us.
I know, man. Dance class or whatever, gymnastics, feeding the gator. I mean, come on.
So are there any big auctions coming up that you're looking at? I don't follow the auction scene.
I mean, once a month there's something. Heritage has one the end of the month. They have some cool stuff, but I'm out right now.
You're out. You better save up for the national.
I know.
So you can snake. You got to save up to snake some stuff from me.
I'm serious. I do. I really do this time. I don't know, but I don't know. It's more the fun just to walk. I spent way too much last time, but it's just fun. I don't even need to spend anything actually.
Yeah, I spent way more than I was anticipating, or I wanted to. This last time, I was pretty good at the first one. I behaved myself pretty good there, but no, I never hear of you going to card shows. Do you ever go to card shows?
There's no card shows in the Bay Area. There's none.
There isn't.
Not there's the very small, very small.
Yeah.
And it's modern. I don't even. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, I don't have any around me either. None.
I really don't. They used to have a huge one in the Cow Palace. TriStar used to come. We have an old called the Cow Palace here, where the Warriors played in the old days, and that's when Mr. Mint would come, and it was a once a year thing. But there's nothing here.
Yeah. Hey, Lou, you didn't invite me? You didn't invite me. Everybody's invited to Lou's house after the Tampa show. I'll let Rachel know you're coming. When I went down there, I was inviting everybody back to his house. I came. Yeah, we had a good time, right, Orlando? A lot of people there. Concrete Buddy, Hugo was there. Mike Hitman 23, Liam, James. No, James wasn't there. What am I talking about? That was the first time I went.
We got to get Liam to go. His parents need to go to the national. Skip some kind of tournament. He needs
Sticks and Seams is down that way, and Michael Ham, he was there. That's a good time. That Tampa show's a good time. You see a lot of people, man. I saw a lot of YouTubers. Lou's in.
Who's in?
Oh, thanks, Lou. He says I'm family. I don't need an invite. Let me post that so I can take a screenshot later. All right, Rick. Well, I guess might be time to wrap it up.
All right. We didn't even get over our top. We didn't start our topic. Next time.
I worked out. I'm like starving and tired, running out of steam here.
Yeah.
Now, if Lou would jump on,
my idea. So we're almost at 54 minutes. How many?
Oh, that's a good timing. That's a good timing.
How many we have in the chat? We have more than 15 now.
21. Roberto Clemente's number. Oh, somebody just left us. Now we have 20. Eric Pegram's number.
We have 131. I'm showing sub-wise. We need to get that up to 250 or something. I don't know how.
Well, Rick, you have to make content more than once every month. I thought everybody was going to jump on here and crickets, man.
Nothing. No one likes us.
Nothing.
We're too old, man.
Well, I'll tell you, if we do our get off our lawn segment, I think that would be a huge hit.
I got a lot of complaints. You know me. That's all I have is complaints. Why is it seriously? I'm the lowest key. I'm for even when you probably know when I'm hanging with you. But just stuff nowadays, when you get older, just bugs the crap out of you. And when you were younger, didn't even care. Why is that?
Right. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we don't have anything better to do.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like when you live in a neighborhood that's a bunch of retirees, it's like they're constantly watching outside who's in the neighborhood, who's walking
Yeah,
here, who is that? And they come out and
yeah,
they're looking around and
yeah,
they're always questioning you. And I moved into an area that was mostly older people, and I was like, man, I can't deal with these retirees. They're like constantly monitoring everything. I, yeah, I don't know what it is.
it's true.
We're not quite that bad anymore.
I
The
don't know.
the I mean, what has bothered us is just the hijacking of the hobby during COVID and how you know all these kind of bad actors and bad advice, and it's hard to sit back and just listen
Yeah,
to it when you know it's moronic.
yeah.
You know it's moronic when people are, I don't know, like paying $15,000 for a box of 1988 basketball cards or some crap, and then they all grade a 7 and an 8
The
because
guy with the
those were the
whiteboard.
quality control on those was so god awful, and the baseball were even worse. The 88 Donruss. Oh my god, that set coming out of the pack, you were lucky to get a 4. They were all miscut. Very hard to find them centered.
I hear you. I hear you.
Let's see if anybody has any last minute
Yeah,
things.
we got 3 minutes.
It's Jason's birthday. Happy birthday.
Is
All
Jason
right,
going?
guys. What's
Oh,
that?
okay. I'll say, is Jason going to the National? He needs to. He doesn't make videos, does he?
That's a
Jason?
good question. Jason, are you going to the National? Because you asked us if we were going. I just assumed he was for asking that. But this National is going to be epic. This is going to be the best one yet. How many people we have staying with us?
It's.
It's a lot.
I'm embarrassed to say.
It's a lot.
10, 12, 14, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
The only problem with this national, though, I've never been to this one, but it sounds like we're going to be kind of on our own because nothing's right around there. So once it closes, people are going to kind of go their own way. We're not going to, just like Chicago or Atlantic City, everyone can do whatever. Hey, I could go over to this person's place or this
Well,
bar.
it's not at the convention center.
Well, it is, but I don't think anything's around that convention center. I understand.
Yeah, man. Cleveland's a hot. Well, I haven't been there in years, but it's a hopping town. It's a hopping town. I used to hang out down at the flats. Funny story. Funny story. I had this younger guy that was at a convention, and I took him out. We had a blast, and he had too much to drink, so I lost him. And I'm like the Marines, man. I never leave a man behind. Never leave a man behind. So I lost him. I am looking everywhere for him. I can't find him anywhere. So I go to get in my car to drive around and look for him. And he's passed out in my back seat, in the back seat of my car. And to this day, I have no idea how he got in there because I could swear it was locked. Um, but he's in there passed out. So I'm like, "What hotel you staying at?" He's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "I'll know it if I see it. It's it's near a bridge or this and that." So I drove all over Cleveland until he recognized his hotel that I could get him up back to his room. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning. Good time. But
Yeah.
Cleveland's a fun city. At least it used to be.
There's a, but I don't think
Yeah.
I got the idea that the convention center, or whatever, there's no restaurant, there's nothing around there, there's no hotels around there.
No, I think you're right about that. But things aren't too far from it
Yeah.
because it's not like out in the middle of nowhere like some are. Um, but
The place we're
I don't
staying
know. It's
was
been a while,
the
so I
place,
don't remember
the
exactly.
place we're staying, man. It's like we could have there's a baseball field in the back. There's a big bar. We could have somebody's wedding there. The thing's huge.
Yeah. Now, is it? Are we far from the convention center? Do you know?
It's like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So we have 4 or 5 cars, but still, I mean,
Well,
you're
Rick,
either
I mean, nobody was back at the house last time. Nobody was ever there. We were always out and about.
yeah, yeah. We'll see.
I mean, we just went there to sleep. I remember that when I had to go get my car, when I had my flat and I had to go get my car, I Ubered it back, and you guys kept telling me you were at the house or you were coming to the house to meet me, and we were going to go somewhere, and none of you came back for me. Not none of you.
Well, the best time was at the
But
house.
you were told me you were.
That's the best time was at the house. We're just hanging, but
Well, the first year that house was,
yeah, the first, yeah,
yeah, the first year that was a good time because people would just come over and hang out all night. I mean, I think the earliest we probably went to bed was 3 o'clock in the morning. We just sit around, trade cards, talk to people. People come and go. That was a good time.
yeah.
This
All
will
right.
this will be a good time too.
No, for sure, for sure.
All right, Rick. Good
Hey,
hanging
that was
out with
fun.
you.
Hey,
All
thanks
right,
for man.
we'll do it again.
One day I'll have to figure out how to do it, so I can.
I'll show you at the national.
All right, all right,
All
all
right,
right, man.
thanks everybody for hanging
Everyone,
out.
thanks for watching. All 15. All
See
right,
ya.
John. We'll see you, man.